Hello, hello. Welcome to the She Found Her podcast. I am your host, Tracy McKinney, and I have a very special guest, Brittany Young, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and let her tell you guys a little bit about her and what she does. Hi, Brittany. Welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me. I am Brittany, aka Britt Michelle, owner of Britt Michelle Beauty and Aesthetics. I am a esthetician, licensed esthetician, based out of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Um, I started off as a makeup artist, and here we are.
Amen. Amen. And so I met Brittany in 2017. I
Right.
when I transitioned from Chicago to Missouri, and she was actually one of the first persons that I met. And it was crazy because at that stage in our life, we were both going through some really, traumatic things that we were both trying to overcome and grow into the women that we are today. So
Mhm.
she was always welcoming as soon as I first met her, and she just, we just clicked instantly. And I don't do that with everybody, but she just had that personality. And she's a go getter, definitely a go getter. So I want to, as much as you want to share, or how did you overcome? Because you were born and raised in Philly, correct, or Missouri?
So I was originally born in Missouri because my dad was military, but I was raised in
Okay.
Philadelphia. I moved to Philadelphia when I was 14 years old, and I left when I was 26. So it kind of was like,
Okay.
once I hit the decade mark, they was like, you can't say you're from Missouri no more, because I used to say I was from Missouri when I first moved there, because it set me apart from everybody else. And then once I hit like
Okay.
the 10-year
Okay.
mark, my friends was like, you can't say you're from Missouri no more. You're from Philly. And so when I moved back, it's like I was raised there, and my most traumatic
Right.
years were there. So, I'm from Philly
Okay.
slash Missouri.
Okay. There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. So, can you tell the listeners some things that you might have had to go through, how you overcame, and we want to talk about where you're at now. But first, we want to how you overcame and
I
you fought for
overcame.
yourself.
First and foremost, I have two daughters, two beautiful daughters. So, I mean, that's always
Yes.
been
Yes.
my driving force. Um, the things
Hmm.
that I didn't have myself, I wanted them to have. So, I never gave up,
Okay.
no matter what the situation was, just due to wanting a better life for my children. And coming from
Yeah.
a small town originally and seeing that there
Hmm.
is better, I mean, that's all also
Yeah.
a driving force, because some people get stuck in cities because that's all they know. And they don't know
Hmm.
that it's a whole
Yeah.
nother world, and life doesn't have to be like this. So,
Yes. Yes.
I've overcome homelessness, domestic violence,
My God.
just
Wow. And this is Domestic Violence Awareness
just
Month
not
too.
have yeah, just not having confidence in myself, not
Hmm.
believing that I was good enough, just all I've overcame all those things. Just being
My
the
God.
outcast of my family, all those things. So, um, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
But
My God. My God.
yeah, so I'm better at answering like specifics, because
Hmm.
it's so many
Hmm.
stages that I've gone through that I can't really just throw one out there and it not be something I've overcame. I feel like I'm one of the people who's been through almost everything, which is kind of sad,
Wow.
but also
Okay.
empowering as well,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
here I am,
Okay. Amen. Amen. Well, if there's any one thing you want to share, about one specific area that you overcame, that's perfectly fine.
just
If
always
and
being
by it being domestic violence.
well, yeah. So, but it was a different my my
Okay.
domestic violence wasn't as traumatic as most. It was more of a
Okay.
mental,
Mm-hmm.
possessive, um, degrading, just
Yeah.
all those things when you meet someone and and they help you, and they constantly let you know, like, you wouldn't be here if I didn't help you. Or,
My
you know,
God.
the physical violence didn't come all the time. It was just sometimes, you know. So it
Okay.
wasn't like a constant thing, but it was a thing. Mentally destroyed me for a long time, for many years.
Wow.
But I feel like my biggest thing I've overcame in just life is just being able to adapt to whatever's happening,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be smart about how I'm going to get out of something if I dislike it, or if it's
Yes.
not bringing me peace or making me happy. So being an
Yes.
overcomer is
Yes.
just saying you're going to do something or seeing a life for yourself and going to get it.
Hmm.
Like, it doesn't have to always be
Mm.
something traumatic for you to be
Right.
an overcomer. So
That's so.
I hate sometimes going back there. It's hard for me to talk
Yeah.
about all the things because
Okay.
it is it's it's hard to sometimes, even me
Yeah.
standing where I am now, being like, dang, I can't even believe I got out of that.
Wow.
Or I can't even believe I'm
My
standing
God.
here and my name is on the wall of something when all my life most people have
Yeah.
counted me out, you know? So I mean,
Yes. Yes.
that's what made me overcome the
Yes.
naysayers.
Hello. You fought for that part,
Yeah.
and you fought for you, and
Yes.
that's why this, and it's so crazy because that's why this means so much to me because it was
Mhm.
literally like I've gone through a lot of things as well, and it was
Mhm.
literally me fighting to come out of that and then saying I have to choose me. I was choosing everybody else and I wasn't choosing me. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
think and that's why I created this platform and want to reach as many people as we can because I think there's a lot of people who don't know how to do that.
They
Just like you
don't.
said, the environment here, we can literally, and I'm not even being funny, but people, in the bigger cities like in Chicago, I know we have a lot of violence, a lot of things going on. And we
Mhm.
can literally go in the store where we're at here in Missouri and leave our purse in the car and be okay. I don't
And
recommend
leave it
that you keep doing
running.
it, but
Listen, leave it
and
running.
leave
Leave
it
your keys in it.
running.
And not saying that stuff
Yeah.
doesn't happen here, but you're just more.
Right.
It's just safer. Like, it's just a safer
Yeah, it
environment.
is.
It's less likely to happen. And if it does
Exactly.
happen, they ain't getting far because it's so small. You
That
know, so,
that part.
so
That
you know,
part.
and my car stopped
That
running
part.
when you take the keys out of it and stop it. So
Yeah.
it's just that sense
Yeah.
of security being here, and it's so crazy because my original
Yeah.
plan was I'm going to go to Missouri. I'm going to get my life together. Because at the
Okay.
time I was living in a room. In Philly, they do room shares,
Okay.
and one of my friends' fathers had linked me to someone who he was cool with because at one point I helped his family out, like his daughter out, with letting her stay with
Okay.
me when we were younger. And so it came to a point where I was like,
Okay.
I don't have nowhere to go. I need somewhere to go. And shout out to Mr. Troy. Um, he'll
Come
always
on.
have a special place in my heart because
Yes.
he gave me the connect to do that. But then it came to a point where even me working 18-hour days, I could not afford to be there.
Wow.
And I was going to be late on my rent. And I'm paying
Okay.
$600 a month to live in a room that I can't even spin around in. I'm sharing a bathroom with strangers. The floor falling apart. There's bed bugs in here. I have, at the time,
My
Lasia was 6 and Kaylin was like 3, so 7 and 3, something like that. And
okay.
he pretty much
Wow.
told me, like, you can't be late. You can't be late. You're gonna have to go. And
Wow.
with
My
2 kids
God.
and no money, I was like, what do you
Yes.
need? Like, you know. So I called my aunt who raised
Wow.
me in Missouri until I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And it was a Sunday. And I was like, I gotta leave. I don't have no choice. I have to
Wow.
leave Philly
Yeah.
because I don't see no other way. And
Right.
by Thursday, my aunt was in Philadelphia
Wow.
and my cousin was driving, and whatever could fit in the trunk of my cousin's Kia is what I brought to Missouri, which was
Mhm.
like a couple trash
Okay.
bags full of things, 2 kids, no plan, no
Right.
car, but I had my aunt's back room.
Come on.
And
My God.
the stability to get my mind right. And at first, it
Yeah.
wasn't easy. And that's where we met. I was still in a very broken
Yes.
stage, um,
Yeah, me
and
too.
still thinking I could live how I was living in Philly here. As far as like drinking all
Yeah.
the time. I was a
Mhm.
waitress. I got a job. One thing that I can do is get me a job.
Yes. That, that part.
Give me a job. So I got me a job, and I was a waitress, but I was still in the mindset of just living fast for a while.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
and so I stayed in my aunt's back room for 2 years. I did, but
Okay.
then
Okay.
every year I made a step. The first year I got a car. It was like, okay, I got me
Okay.
a little car. And then the second year, it was like, okay, I've been working. I ended up getting two jobs. And then it was like, okay, I can move out now. And so
Okay.
I
Come
moved
on.
out. I moved out, and it was a townhome. It wasn't nothing grand or great, but it was mine. And
Yes. Absolutely.
I actually just moved from there this year. I was there for 4 years. No matter
Come
how
on.
much I elevated in life, I
Don't
could not
downplay
let
your
go of that.
townhome. Her townhome was
Listen,
nice.
listen, I could not, I could not let go of that place just because that was the longest. No one
Wow.
knows. I've been moving around since I was knee high to a grasshopper. Really, I've never been
Wow.
stable. Really, so it took me
Okay.
a long time to let go of my townhome. I'm talking about I
Mm.
cried tears just because that was the only thing that was ever
Oh,
mine and that I worked hard for and was able to
yes.
keep. I was able to keep it.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh my God, what? I gotta give up. But it was for, something better. But it was, girl, yes.
Okay.
So I just recently moved out of there this
Yes.
year.
My God.
After 1 year of me being, I won't even think I hit my 1 year of being in business for myself yet. But
Okay. Okay.
we um we moved on up out of the townhome, and every year I've been here,
Um,
I've elevated. So that's how I've been
yes.
stuck for 6 years, or not gonna say stuck, but
Mm.
here and just
Stuck, right?
because we get a lot of people that come. We get a lot of people who come in
Yeah.
and out, especially
That's
me.
true.
My clientele fluctuates all the time, and they're like, "What you doing here? You've been here for six
Yeah.
years. You like it?" And I'm like, "No,
Right.
but God likes it for me. God likes it for me because every year
Right.
I'm
There
doing a
you
little bit
go.
better than I was last year, and I'm okay.
Oh,
I'm
come
okay with
on.
that. And when I'm ready to
Yeah.
go somewhere, I can get in my
Yeah.
car or I can book me a flight and go somewhere, and then I come back and I know that my kids are safe, and I know that my car is safe,
Yes.
I know that my house is safe, and I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
things that, I mean, anything can happen at any given time, but just the peace
Right.
of this place will suck you in. So
Yes.
we're
That's
here
so
for
true.
now.
So
It
true.
is.
Yeah.
It is. We ain't gonna
That's
talk
so
about the cost of
true. Cause
living now. Look,
oh man, come on. What you can have a mini mansion.
no,
Come
for
on.
real.
Man. Wait,
Seriously, seriously.
man.
So.
So I look up, next thing I know, Brittany is in esthetician school and she's just doing it. And now when I say in this town, she has made a name for herself and everybody knows. I keep telling her, don't downplay Britt by Michelle. That name itself, it speaks luxury. Okay. And I know that name is going to be huge. So
Britt
don't look,
Michelle.
I said it here today. That name is going to be huge. It speaks volumes. And she's really caring about how she works. Like she is a people person, but she cares about her work. Like she doesn't just, oh, we go to a lot of shops now. Let's keep it real,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the city where I'm from, and they don't care. It's nowadays you almost have to come to a salon with your hair done and your makeup done, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll just, you know what I'm saying. So
Yes.
you give the whole service, like the whole pampers, and it's just amazing how your heart is into it and how I saw you, grow it from here to there, and just it's an amazing feeling. So I'm saying a feeling for you to watch you do that,
Yeah, because you were at my
because
very
I know
first.
we both were.
Yeah, you were at my very first launch party when I started the lip gloss line in
Hmm.
2019,
Yes,
and it's so
yes,
crazy
that I
because
have it right here, somewhere. Right here,
look,
great.
So
Britt by Michelle.
it's Britt Michelle Tracy looking at you.
I'm sorry, Britt Michelle. I'm sorry, Britt Michelle. I'm supposed to know this too, right? Britt Michelle. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. But so we were.
Oh man.
I remember you being just a light in the room when it comes to anything that I've done. You're so
Thank
no.
you.
I'm gonna give you your flowers while you can still smell them, honey. Listen, you're not just gonna sit on this podcast and boast me up, and I don't get to say nothing to you. Just you have been, no matter what you were going through, I never could tell unless you opened your mouth and told
Wow.
me. Um,
Wow.
you have been one of my biggest supporters. People don't even know when you pop up at events. I don't talk to you every day. I don't talk to you every week.
Yeah.
But every time I have
Right.
something, Tracy is going to be there. Do you hear me smiling,
Yeah.
saying Britt by Michelle, all wrong, but right, all in the building, and letting you know what it
But
is.
cheering you on. You know how the old
Yes,
grandmothers do. We say it all
yes,
wrong, but we be cheering
ma'am. And so I really appreciate you just for always being that light for me, because you're one of the people who
you.
said
Yeah.
I could
Thank
when there were so many people who said I couldn't or I wouldn't
you.
or there's no
Wow.
way or
Right.
even when I doubted myself. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, girl.
Wow.
You already know
Oh,
this stuff.
thank you. Don't be trying to make me cry right now.
No, you're good.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Thank you. So yeah. So what? So we know your kids are your why, and just where you have elevated to. You know what I mean? And like I said,
Mhm.
you're doing your thing. When you want to reach a woman who is really trying to come out and find her way, because for me, it's about like we do agree here that this place is a place that you can start to heal.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of people are walking around just and they've buried the pain, and so they can't progress because it's like they're still stuck in that. And I do believe this town, I know that for me, that's probably why God sent me here. And that could be the same for you because
Mhm.
look what has happened, so that when
Mhm.
we leave here and go on to bigger cities and, and you be worldwide with Britt Michelle, you'll be healed and whole and ready for that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So with
Mhm.
a woman that's listening now that wants to do that, what would you want to say to that person that will leave an impact on them?
I would say, just start. Start small.
Mhm. Yeah.
Write your ideas down. I'm not a writer, but I keep everything up here or I put it in my phone. But when you speak
Yeah.
something, I promise you it will come to pass. But you got to put the work in. I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit here and act like I'm not one of the
That
hardest
part.
working people I know. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say just start. I feel like a lot of people just don't start.
Yeah.
They have all these a million
Mhm.
ideas and brilliant ideas, and they never start
Yes.
out of fear of what people think or how. I
Mm.
promise you, it will work itself out.
Hmm.
I never in a million years thought I
Wow.
would be working for myself solely within 1 year
Wow.
starting a business. There is no way nobody. I held on
Yeah.
to a job for so long out of fear,
Wow.
working so hard for
Yeah.
somebody else out of fear. As soon as COVID hit,
Mm.
I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go get me a job." Hold on, and was miserable for a whole nother 2 years.
Yeah.
And then one day I
Wow.
was like, I'm calling out. I am tired. And
Yes.
then I called back and said, you know what? Books weren't full, nothing.
Mm.
I'm not coming back.
Hmm.
All that energy I put
Wow.
into other people's
Yeah.
business, you can put it into yourself. Do it when
Yes.
you're ready, though. Don't let nobody force you
Yeah.
into doing anything. You have to wait until the time is right. I promise you, I was getting ready to go to work that night and I was just
Mm.
tired. And I said no.
Yeah.
Nothing
Wow.
crazy happened. I was just tired. I've been working two
Yeah.
jobs since I don't know, for forever.
Wow.
And I was just
Yeah.
tired. And so
Yeah.
I feel like just start because
Yeah.
nobody could have told me I would be here. Nobody. So I'm telling you, I keep
Wow.
repeating it because I'm still in shock
Yeah.
sometimes. Even having a
Yeah.
king size bed sitting behind me and having a whole house and having all the things, like no one could have ever told me that it was going to be me.
Wow.
I knew I was
Wow.
destined for something. I just didn't know what I was destined for. Even when I was in
Wow.
school, I still carried a negative spirit for a long time.
Mm.
And I
Okay.
felt like
Okay.
nothing was working out for me because I was still carrying a
Yeah.
negative spirit. Like I was
Yeah.
just nasty sometimes. I was hard to be around sometimes. I took for granted people who were in my life sometimes
Mhm.
because I was so used to
Okay.
just being a survivor. Um, I've neglected being there
Mhm.
for people that I should have been there for at times because I was just so wrapped up in
Yeah.
what I needed, but I've been neglected my whole life. So no
Right.
one gave me
My
grace
God.
when it came to it. So I ended up giving myself that grace.
Mm.
And
Yes.
so,
Yes.
I was real hard on myself for a
My
long
God.
time. Just start.
Yeah.
You got to just start. I feel
Yeah.
like once you let all the negativity go and all the doubt,
Mhm.
stuff just starts to flourish. It does. It took
Mm.
a couple years of therapy for me and
Yeah.
to surround myself
Hello, but
around the
that's look.
people
Come on.
that I wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
like. I had to change my whole
Mm.
circle. I had to change
Yes.
everything that I used to do. You couldn't tell me that I wouldn't be an avid drinker for the rest of my life. Y'all, I do not drink.
Right.
I
My God. Come on.
I could drink you under the bar. I do not
Right.
drink unless it's for an occasion, and I'm not doing it to
Yes.
be tipsy anymore. It's like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
I don't
Wow.
entertain drama.
Mm.
It's just certain stuff. I can't even watch like blogs and stuff on the internet. I can't get into any of that stuff because I feel like once you get sucked in, you just you
Mm-hmm.
be sucked in. You be sucked in.
Yes.
So
So
I
true.
mean,
So
if you
true.
want change, you got to be the change too, and you got to put the work in.
Oh, come on. Come on,
So
sis. Come on. Because
I'm just
the
saying,
environment is
you do.
important and a lot of people
I
don't
wish that some
get that.
it is.
Whew.
It is
Very
so
important.
important.
Your
Y'all,
environment is
I
very
wouldn't walk
important.
down the street. I wouldn't walk down the street with some of the people that I used to hang around and be around now just
See?
because they still there. I done spent the block a couple
Right.
times
Right.
and they still there
Wow.
doing the same things
Wow.
and I'm not. And so, I mean, just do it.
Wow.
Just do it. You got
My
to think
God.
about all the things that you want and then
Yes.
start making changes to accommodate that. You
Because
do.
it is possible. It is
It is.
possible.
It's so
And just what
possible.
you've done in 1 year. That's why I'm elated for it's 1 year. Like it was
Mhm.
just your 1 year anniversary a couple months ago. And
Mhm.
can you imagine 5 years from now? Like I'm man, I'm telling you, like I'm so excited. Especially it's more exciting for me. It's so exciting when you see an individual like you said. When we both met each other, we both were in a very
Mhm.
broken state. A broken. There were parts of us that were broken. And to see us both coming and how what we've done here, and I know that for me, this is Missouri had to happen. It had to
Mhm.
happen. You know,
I
and
even used
I
to
just
get so
cannot wait to.
negative when I first got here, and
Wow.
sometimes I'll be like, I can't believe I'm back here. I can't believe I'm God. Why am
Mm.
I back here? I can't believe I'm back here because
Wow.
I didn't want to come back here. I lost my brother
Yeah.
here. I didn't, not to anything traumatic. My brother was sick, but my
Yes.
brother was, that's all I had at one point, as far as like
Okay.
close family besides my aunt and her children. But my brother, we're the only two that came from the same person. I have a
Mm.
little brother too.
Okay.
Let me not X him out, but
Yeah.
but you know, on my mother's side. So, but
Okay.
to grow up and have to deal with even that stigma for a long time. I lost my brother when I was 12 here. And so coming back, it
Wow.
was like, oh, everybody remembers that because this place is so small. And
Hmm.
I didn't want to just
Hmm.
be
Yeah.
Brian's little sister, and not to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about my wild past or none of that stuff that I'm okay with, now my reputation here,
Yeah.
because I went through so much as a kid, wasn't too great either. So, you know, but I
Okay.
had to tell people
Okay.
I'm not 12-year-old Brittany. I'm not 17-year-old Brittany. I'm not 27-year-old Brittany. I'm not the same person you met sitting
Right.
on that bench in the park.
Yes.
I'm just not even that
Yes.
person anymore. But people get so wrapped up
That's
with
right.
who you were,
Your past.
they can't even see where you're
They
going.
live there more
So
than you do.
yeah, yeah, they live there more than you do. They can't even see where you're going. So while they sitting there dwelling,
Mm.
just keep on rising up and flourishing right on past them because
Yes,
they
that
can't even
part.
believe it. By the
That
time you
part.
turn around, they like, oh, how this happened? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
about them. It's not. We'll never give them that much power. But just know, like, because
Ooh,
a lot
come
of
on.
people don't know. A lot of people don't realize that even just the naysayers or the people behind them, or that has a lot to do with people not starting
Mm.
because of what they
Wow.
said. It does. It does.
Yeah.
I know so
Yeah.
many people who care about what people think,
Wow.
and
Goodness.
that's the only
Just
thing that I can say that
imprisoned.
I've had since birth.
Yeah.
Probably I never cared. Like,
Mm.
has it bothered me? Maybe it might have ruffled
Yeah.
a feather or
Right.
two, but only if I had that insecurity about myself and somebody brought it out to Front Street.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time what somebody
Mm.
has
Okay.
said about me has ever bothered me. It's because I already feel that way about myself. I don't need you to put
Right.
myself on Front Street. But I never cared
Come on.
truly what you,
Yeah.
that was an
Yeah.
insecurity of mine, so
Okay.
I feel
Okay.
like
Yeah.
y'all got to stop caring what
My
people
God.
think and just start.
Yes.
You'll shock yourself.
That part.
You really will. You will shock.
Ooh, my God. My God. Ooh. Yes. That part, because he is definitely how I got here. You know, my favorite saying now is, "God gonna spin the block for you. You better trust him. He will spin the blocks for you. You better trust him. I'm telling you." My God, my God, oh my God, this is amazing. What are a couple things that you do for self care? Maybe you could share with the ladies something you do for self care. Hello. Hmm. Come on, come on, come on. Yes. Yeah. Right. Wow. Yep. You be getting it, child. Getting it every day. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Have to. Isn't that the oh, that's beautiful? Sitting in the car is everything. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yes. Oh, right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 Hmm. Yeah. 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 Mm, yeah. 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 Mhm. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yes. Mm, yes. Peace. That part. That part. That part. That part. That is definitely self care, and she will get you right every time. That's for sure. That's for sure. My God. This has been an amazing interview. I am so grateful that you joined me today, and I hope that the listeners get something from this. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope the listeners get something from this and takeaways, where and some nuggets that she dropped that you can do it. It is possible for you. It's possible for you to find you. And I think it's so important if you choose you. And I had to learn that as well to choose. And we clearly see here right now that Brittany chose her. She stood up and fought for herself when nobody else would, and look at the results. So, man, ladies, you got this. You can do this. So thank you for joining the She Found Her podcast. That part. Thank you guys for tuning in to the She Found Her podcast. Until the next episode, take care and be blessed. Don't hang up.